I'm all set up.
Okay, we're rolling.
Okay. Don't fall asleep. The Romantic writer Victor Hugo. Life is like a flower for which love is the honey. This is a quote from Victor Hugo, one of the most prolific writers of the Romantic period. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, Victor Hugo wrote 100 lines of verse and 20 pages of prose a day. In researching Victor Hugo, not only did I discover that he was the author of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables, but that he also had an active political life, and he had a very passionate love life. Victor Hugo was the leader of the Romantic movement and the most important writer of the 19th century, according to biographer Graham Robb. Today I will be talking about Victor Hugo's early life, his successes, his tragedies, and his death. So how did Victor Hugo get to become the greatest writer of his time? Victor Marie Hugo was born in Besançon, France on February 26, 1802. His mother was Sophie Trebuchet, and his father was Joseph Leopold Sigisbert Hugo. His mother was a royalist and loyal to the monarchy and a devout Catholic. His father was a general in the Napoleon's Imperial Army and an anarchist. Due to his parents' incompatibility, Sophie left Joseph and moved to Paris. Victor was a law student who was very poor as being a student because of his constant travels with his father in the army. He was, however, a very talented writer. His mother, Sophie, supported his writing. She did not, however, support him dating his childhood friend, Adele Foucher. Victor and Adele were married after his mother died in 1821. They had 5 children together: Leopold, who died in infancy, Leopoldine, Adele, Charles, and Francoise Victor. While Victor Hugo wrote many works of poetry and prose, it wasn't until he published his work Cromwell in 1921 that he became a true romantic writer. He followed this with Hernani, which cemented his position as a romantic writer, and in 1831 he wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame. With these publications, Victor Hugo was accepted to the Academy of France and the Chamber of Peers. He was known as the poet of France. Around this time, Adele Foucher decided that she no longer wanted to be with Victor. The honeymoon was over. They stayed married, but she had an affair with Victor Hugo's best friend and critical writer, Sainte-Beuve. In retaliation, he had an affair with a young actress named Josephine Drouet. This wouldn't be his only affair. He had another affair that was very scandalous. He dated a married woman named Leonie Biard. They were caught in the act, and subsequently she was arrested and jailed for adultery. Victor Hugo, however, got off because of his position in the French government. Victor Hugo's daughter, Leopoldine, died with her husband in a tragic drowning accident on the Seine River in 1843. This left Victor Hugo in great despair for many years. At this point, he started writing the novel Les Miserables. In the French Revolution of 1848, Victor Hugo was elected deputy of the Paris Assembly. In the coup d'etat of December 1851, the Second Empire of Napoleon III was established. And due to this and Victor's changing political views, he was exiled to Brussels and later to Guernsey, England. During his 20 years in exile, Victor Hugo completed the work on Les Miserables and published it in 1862. This was the beginning of some very sad times for Victor Hugo. In 1868, his wife Adele died, and although they had a very traumatic marriage, he still loved her. Between 1871 and 1873, his sons Charles and Francois Victor passed away. In 1878, Victor Hugo suffered a stroke. And in 1883, his constant companion, Juliette, passed away. In an article dated April 22nd, 1915, the New York Times states that Victor Hugo's only surviving daughter, Adele, suffered from schizophrenia, and she died in an institution at the age of 85. Victor Hugo himself died on May 22nd, 1885. He had a hero's funeral. He was placed under the Arc de Triomphe, and he was interred at the Pantheon in Paris, France. Victor Hugo's life started out erratic and transient. He had a passionate love life and a successful literary career. He suffered many losses and had a hero's funeral. He truly was the tortured soul and melancholy spirit that embodied the poet of the Romantic era. That's it.
Perfect time.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't, that one's long. So, yeah, that one is like the longest one, and it's not, like I said, it's not